I don't know. Anyway, I think it was a good day. We're going to get a lot done down in Kentucky. I think they're going to be able to be in good shape. And the governor is really working. There's a real bipartisan effort down there. I'm very hopeful. Very hopeful.
Do you think people are listening to your bipartisan message as you keep repeating? You were saying it today.
Well,
listening. I'm sorry to say that you're in the polls. With due respect to the polls, you're very, your polls are terrible. But your message seems to be reaching out to people. Why aren't they hearing?
Well, and it's a long way home. It's fact is that we've been divided for so long, and it's only recently that we have any kind of movement, and I think you're going to see a lot change. I talked to him. He knows he's already invited. I invited him the first time I was down. No, I don't think so. I don't think he has to. He got a sentence from him.
What was your message to the families of flood victims whose homes were damaged when you were talking with them? What was your message to them?
The message was we're going to stay till they're fixed. Thank you. It's like a dog in my one.
We're going to stay.
Yes, Ms. Connell.
Good morning, sir. Around our parts, we see you on TV, and most of the time, it's very standing out to us that you're going to come and take our guns. If a gun is legally registered, are you going to do that? And my second question, if you are a Christian, do you believe in abortion?
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for asking these two really important questions. What I want to do is to make sure that fewer of our fellow Texans, fewer of our kids are shot by these guns. The proposals that I made earlier, a universal background check, a red flag law, and I'd add to that a safe storage law, meaning that if you've got kids in the house and you have firearms, keep them locked up. How many times have you read the story where the 3 or 4 or 5-year-old gets their hand on their mom's gun, accidentally shoots themselves or their younger brother? Or as we saw in Santa Fe High School, not too far from Houston, Texas, a 17-year-old picked up his parents' unsecured guns, took them into that high school, and killed his fellow classmates. Those 3 ideas of background checks, of red flag laws where we intervene before it's too late, and safe storage, most of us can agree on. And to your question, that is what I'm focused on. I know that there are Republicans and gun owners, as well as Democrats and gun owners and non-gun owners, who can get behind that. On your second issue about abortion, I do think that women in this state should be able to make their own decisions about their own bodies, their own health care. Listen, we are a state that cherishes our independence, that cherishes our freedom, and that cherishes our constitutional rights. That right to privacy, to make your own personal decisions without interference from your government, has been the law of the land for half a century. And you know who won that? It was Texas women. Jane Roe, a Roe versus Wade, was a Texan. Her attorneys were Linda Coffey of Dallas, and from Abilene, Texas, Sarah Weddington, in the early 1970s, argues that case in front of an all-male Supreme Court and wins that decision at the end of the day. So I say this to all the women in the room right now. It looks like very dark days in a state that has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the developed world. Because as you shut down reproductive health care clinics, you're also shutting down the opportunity to get a cervical cancer screening, to see a family planning provider, to see a doctor of any kind in the least insured state in America. For black women, it's 3 times as deadly, this maternal mortality rate. We lead the country in teen pregnancy. We lead the country in repeat teen pregnancy. Watch that get worse as they follow up this decision by trying to ban contraception in the state of Texas going forward. So, as tough as this looks right now, let me tell you this. I am going to fight for you. And I'm going to make sure that we call upon the strength of Texas women to overcome this. But if we're going to do it, we must win this election. Winning political power is fundamental to our ability to overcome this attack on women. Thank you for asking the questions.
The American people are suffering under the far-left radical socialist policies of President Joe Biden and Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In just over 100 days, we have an economic crisis, we have a border crisis, and we have a national security crisis. The economic crisis, we see the worst jobs report in over 20 years. Unemployment is up, small businesses are struggling to hire workers, and Speaker Pelosi and Joe Biden's solution to that is to pay people to stay out of work rather than incentivizing people to get back to work. As Republicans, we are fighting to reopen the economy, to create jobs. We are fighting against the trillions of dollars of tax increases and the trillions of dollars of reckless spending. The border crisis. This is not only a national security and homeland security crisis, this is a humanitarian crisis. We see historic concerning numbers when it comes to human trafficking on the border, when it comes to drug trafficking on the border. Every single state in this nation is a border state and feels that impact. At home in my district, the northern border is being impacted because Border Patrol officers are being transferred from the northern border to the southern border. Republicans stand for border security. And of course, the national security crisis. We are seeing our strongest ally, Israel, under attack, and we have seen Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi not step up to stand by and support Israel and prioritize outreach to adversaries like China and Iran. So I'm very excited for this opportunity. We are unified, working as one team, and the American people know that the stakes are incredibly high. We are going to fight for them each and every day against the destructive, radical, far-left socialist agenda of President Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi that's destroying America. And I'll go to the first question from the New York Post. Julie.
You kind of came under fire from some conservatives that were concerned about your record. Are you concerned about, I know unifying your message, but given those criticisms going into your the vote, I guess how do you kind of overcome that?
Listen, the Republican Party is a Big Ten party, and my district is the story of the growth of the Republican Party. My district voted for President Obama by double digits, and it voted for President Trump and myself by double digits. We have worked to grow the Republican Party, and Nancy Pelosi has her slimmest majority in a generation. We are going on offense and are going to win back the majority in 2022. This is about being unified. I'm a proud conservative Republican, and I will fight for the Republican conference.
But how can you be unified?
Scott.
Is President Trump the leader of the Republican Party?
I believe that voters determine the leader of the Republican Party, and President Trump is the leader that they look to. I support President Trump. Voters support President Trump. He is an important voice in our Republican Party, and we look forward to working with him.
But how can you be unified so long as you have some members who support the former president and some who don't?
We are unified, and I look to the voters across America. Republican voters are unified in their support and their desire to work with President Trump, and we are unified as Republicans. As I said, this is the slimmest majority that Nancy Pelosi has in a generation. We picked up a number of seats, defied expectations. We're going on offense, and we're going to win on the issues because people are understanding that Joe Biden's pledge of bipartisanship, he has broken that pledge since his first day in office. There has been no bipartisan outreach. It has been party line, partisan, far-left votes, and the American people are seeing the disastrous results in the border crisis, the economic crisis, the national security crisis, and more. The American people are hurting, and Republicans are going to fight for them.